The first topical issue is in the names of Deputies Brendan Ryan and Dominic Hannigan, and it's to the Minister for Health. The need to compensate women who were previously excluded from the Lourdes Hospital Redress scheme on age grounds. Deputy Ryan, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, thank you for the opportunity to speak on this important matter today and to allow me to share this debate with my colleague Deputy Hannigan. Our colleague Deputy Jed Nash, who has been unable to speak this afternoon, has also long advocated with myself and Deputy Hannigan on behalf of the women excluded from the Lourdes Hospital Redress scheme. And I'm very grateful to Minister Riley for coming in himself today to deal with this important issue. Minister Riley and myself share a constituency where we have people affected by this issue. We have a commitment in our agreed programme for government to seek a mechanism to compensate those women who are excluded on age grounds alone from the Lourdes Hospital Redress scheme. Over the past 18 months, this matter has been raised through topical issues, order of business and through numerous parliamentary questions. Yet despite all of this pressure, we have seen absolutely no progress towards a resolution for these women. The responses received by all public representatives have been very similar and give no comfort to the women involved. In May of this year, following my raising of the matter with the Taoiseach on the order of business, I received a letter from the Minister's office which stated that a review is ongoing to identify a mechanism to compensate these women and that the review included instructions and legal advice from the Attorney-General. The letter also stated that it was the Minister's intention to bring a proposal to Government on this matter before the summer recess. And given that we are so close to that recess now, Minister, can you give us a concrete information today regarding such proposals for these women? The delay thus far has been inexcusable and I implore you not to let the delay go any further. Thank you.
And Deputy Hannigan now, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Alaska and Corla, and thank you for the opportunity to raise this issue here today. And I want to thank the Minister for being in the chamber for this debate. I know he's recently returned from Vilnius and I hope his journey home was comfortable. I've been raising this issue with my fellow deputies, Brendan Ryan and Jared Nash, since the government was formed 2.5 years ago. We put down parliamentary questions, we've raised topical issue debates, and we've also put down meeting requests with your office. And we've been getting, as Deputy Ryan said, we've been getting the same answer now for 2.5 years. And while all of this has been happening, there are still 35 women out there who are waiting to find out if they will receive the redress that they deserve and that they're entitled to. And we feel that the women deserve better than this. My office spoke with the advocacy group Patient Focus this morning. They're very concerned about the response that the Taoiseach gave in this House earlier about this issue. The concern is that from his answer, the commitment to publish the Walsh report, along with a credible plan to include the 35 women with the, within the redress scheme, that it will not now be announced before the end of next week when the House rises. Minister, to quote the Taoiseach from this morning, given the time constraints on us between now and the summer recess, I will see what can be done. Now, Minister, you know very well from your involvement in this issue that we made a commitment in the programme for government to compensate these 35 women. We did that with open eyes. I know your department in March made a commitment to have answers for them by the end of next week. I'm now, like Deputy Ryan, I'm now asking you today to give us a commitment that you'll bring the Walsh report before Cabinet on Tuesday and then publish the Walsh report along with the plans to include these excluded women in the redress scheme by the end of next week. I'm hoping that you'll be able to do that. There's an expectation that you can make this happen, Minister. I know that you're very concerned about this. I know that you're very committed to this. We need to see you deliver on this now. Thank you very much.
And the Minister has 4 minutes to respond.
Thanks very much, and can I thank the two deputies for raising the issue. The Lourdes Hospital Redress Scheme was established following the findings and recommendations contained in the report of the Lourdes Hospital Inquiry into Peripartum Hysterectomy published in 2006. The inquiry was conducted by Judge Maureen Harding-Clark. The inquiry did not extend to a wider examination of Dr. Michael Neary's general practice or of the clinical practice of his colleagues. During the inquiry, however, Judge Harding-Clark became aware that there were patients who had undergone a bilateral oophorectomy, that is the removal of both ovaries, or a remaining single functioning ovary, at the time of obstetric hysterectomy or as a gynecological procedure, which was not clinically necessary. These women lost the ability to reproduce and suffered immediate surgical menopause. The scheme of redress approved by government was a non-statutory ex gratia scheme. Awards were determined by an independent redress board in 2007 and 2008, which was chaired by Judge Harding Clark. The objective of the scheme was to provide compensation to former patients of Dr. Neary who received unnecessary obstetric hysterectomies, that is, hysterectomies carried out in association with pregnancy, and also to women under 40 years of age who received unnecessary bilateral oophorectomy. The Department of Health has been engaged in a review to consider various mechanisms to compensate those women who were excluded from the redress scheme on age grounds alone. The review involves taking instruction and legal advice, including advice from the Office of the Attorney General, with a view to bringing proposals on a scheme to government for a decision. It is my intention to bring these proposals on this important and sensitive issue to government before the summer recess.
Deputy Ryan, just a brief supplemental.
Briefly, I'd like to thank the Minister for that positive response. My concern today, obviously, given where we are, was just a week to go that previous commitments could not be met. So I take the Minister's word that proposals will be brought to government before further recess, and I thank him for it.
My colleague, I would like to thank you for that. That's very clear, and we're very grateful for that. I'm just hoping that you do manage to find the time also to talk to the various groups in advance of anything going public, so that they're aware of what's being said. Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you, Deputies.